No, no, no. Pete Carroll, why do this? What are you doing? No, this should not have happened. I am not a Seahawks fan in the slightest. This is a horrendous move, drafting a good player. Kenneth Walker's good. I like Kenneth Walker. This is an objectively a bad team building strategy, I think, going after a running back here. Breece Hall and Kenneth Walker going early in round 2. Unless you're a competitive team, I don't think it makes a ton of sense to get a running back. And to me, this feels like this is what Pete Carroll wants. He wants to go back to ground and pound football. You don't have a great quarterback, but you have someone who can, hopefully just do the job. That's what I think they're going to be hoping for, with whether it's Drew Lock or Geno Smith. Probably Geno Smith, but apparently they like Drew Lock. I don't get why you don't go quarterback here. There were other good players, if you don't love these quarterbacks, to select. But the reality is, for a guy like Kenneth Walker, running backs have short shelf lives. They don't matter as much as people think they do. So I do not like this pick. Love the player, though. So let's transition a little bit, because I think the Seahawks got a good player. And I know Seahawks fans are going to be upset in the comments that I dislike their pick, because the draft is about hope. It's about hype, right? It's about fun. It's about getting excited about players. And there is plenty of reasons to get excited about Kenneth Walker. So from a team building perspective, unless Kenneth Walker is going to be elite, which maybe you think he is, and if that's the case, then we disagree. And then it's actually probably an all right team building strategy. But typically, the only reason you would draft a running back this high is if they're going to be a top of the line guy, which, in fairness, there is a lot to like about Walker's running style. So let's get into what I like about Walker, and then we'll, get into the film and all that good stuff. Let's start off with a play like this. This will be a good example of really what Kenneth Walker can do. In my opinion, he is the best just pure runner of the football in this draft class, and it's really impressive, at times. I think he's really good at it. In fact, not just at times. I think just period. He's a really good runner of the football. This is an example of it, where it's going to be a run to the offense's right. And watch what happens once this play starts to develop. So Walker takes the handoff to the offense's left, and now at this point you see how there is a gap towards the right. But there's also a linebacker who, is not yet getting blocked. The offensive lineman is having a bit of a hard time getting off his double team to block that linebacker. So Walker's going to have to get through this gap quickly if he's going to pick up a decent gain on this one. And that's really where Walker shines, I think, is just his acceleration. Look at how he just blows through that hole and is able to pick up a good chunk of yards right there. So that's what he's bringing to the table, is he is a great runner of the football. He is someone who will get you the maximum amount of yards when you block for him, and you don't need to block for very long. He will get through that hole quickly if he sees one, and he can accelerate with the best of them. And not just that, but there's stuff like this so I'm not going to break down the play too much before it starts. Just watch what happens right when it starts to develop. As you see, so Walker takes the handoff, starts running to the offense's left, and then reads a couple of things. First, where's he going to run right here? There isn't too much room. He could try to bounce things to the outside towards the bottom of the screen, so towards his right here, but again, there's not really too much going on there. All the Michigan linebacker has to do is just run up and make a quick tackle, and it's going to be difficult for Walker to get much of anything. But watch what Walker does. Watch him do this little move, and then he's going to make another move, gets to the outside, and is able to pick up a way more yards than you would have expected him to be able to get on that play. That is just being shifty and making great moves. And listen, it's of course very fair to say, well, will you be able to juke out guys like that at the NFL level? And the answer is, well, of course not. At least not to as high of a degree, but guys who were shifty in the NFL level typically were shifty at the college level before, so it's a good indicator that he could at least be good at it at the NFL level. Of course, it won't be as much, but to some degree, this stuff will still very much work. Like this one's another good example where, so you see the blocking concept on your screen, and the reason why I've, shown where everyone is there's going to be a pretty interesting development on this play as there is a blitz. That Michigan player is going to be blitzing, so this creates some interesting issues for Kenneth Walker, as you see. Watch, right when this play begins, the offensive line didn't clear up a huge hole anyways, and with the blitzing rusher for Michigan, what is Walker supposed to do here? I mean, there's legitimately nowhere for him to go, and I love doing this in videos where I pause it when it seems like all hope is lost, where you have to be wondering, where in the world am I going with this? But watch him make this move, and he is going to get past the 50-yard line on this play. That was a good run by Kenneth Walker. Again, did it go for a touchdown? No. Okay, whatever. This is him turning a loss of several yards into a gain of several yards, and that's what you're hoping for with a running back, a guy who can just maximize the value that was given to him by the offensive line. The way I kind of always like to view this is the offensive line blocks certain plays for certain amount of yards. So for this play, they blocked it for -2 yards. Kenneth Walker still found a way to pick up a decent chunk of yards, about 8 or 9. So that's a 10-yard net difference, maybe even more, from Kenneth Walker. You might be wondering, well, man, all this stuff is so good. Why did he fall so far in the first place? Shouldn't he be like a Saquon Barkley type, getting drafted number 2 overall? Well, there's other issues with Walker. Going over here, this is a very real thing where his blocking and quite frankly his receiving isn't that spectacular. Now, the receiving itself, he really just wasn't asked to do it that much with Michigan State, so I feel like he has all the tools to be a good receiving back. Not everyone with all the tools ends up being a good receiving back, but I see no reason why he wouldn't be good at that. But the blocking, on the other hand, is something that, well, it concerns me a little bit because he wasn't that spectacular at it at Michigan State, to say the least. In fact, he's just actively not very good at it. The way this play works is, in fairness, it's a little bit of a more difficult play because he's going to start off with a play action and then try to get into blocking. So that always makes it a little bit more difficult. And look, so the play action is ran very quickly. Walker is in position to make a block, and there are multiple Miami players coming towards him. So I'm not expecting Kenneth Walker to stop both of these guys in their tracks. That's obviously not going to happen. But you would like for him to, I think, at the very least, get in front of the first guy. Trust that your quarterback will eventually read what's happening and at least get rid of the football. Just throw your body in front of 33. Walker isn't going to do that. But that's not even the most concerning thing. The guy Walker tries to hit, he just completely whiffs on. So not only does he try to block the wrong guy, he doesn't even succeed at blocking that guy. So again, this is one example, but his blocking, it's just not great, and it's something he's really going to have to work on because, this is how a Ronald Jones happened, where Ronald Jones, incredible runner, could barely get on the field because he was such a bad blocker that, teams didn't want to risk having those sacks happen on blitz pickups. And when opposing teams saw Ronald Jones in the game, they would start blitzing him because they knew he sucked at blitz pickups. So Walker's he's going to have to get better at it, and he's going to have to get better at it in a hurry because a quarterback is not going to feel happy with this guy on the field if he can't block, and a coach isn't either. So you're going to have to figure it out. So yeah, I mean, listen, I know I'm being a bit hard on Kenneth Walker, but there's stuff I like about him. It's not a Kenneth Walker frustration. There's other teams that if they drafted Kenneth Walker here, I'd be like, okay, bit higher than I would have liked, but I don't hate it. Like same thing with, Breece Hall when he got selected. At least with that, I'm like, well, it's to help out your young quarterback. Even if it's not the best move to help you win now, it can help your quarterback develop. It feels like you don't have a quarterback. So unless you're, I don't know, I just don't get it. Not the move I would have made, but Pete Carroll thinks differently than I do, and he has a Super Bowl, I don't, so maybe I'm wrong. That's what I think about all this. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you, and of course, as always, thanks for watching.